My name is Geoff Elliott, the Business Editor at The Australian, and welcome to the Path to Prosperity series. We are asking the nation's leading experts about the issues that matter and how to build a more efficient nation. Today we talk about mining and resources.
I'm Sarah Jane Tasker. With me today is Geoff Knox, Chief Executive of GE Mining Worldwide. Geoff, I'm going to start with a topical discussion point in Australia's resources sector that plays both into mining and oil and gas, and that's the US gas boom. There are concerns about the future impact on Australia's LNG industry. How real is this threat, and how do you see this cycle playing out?
We are exposed to the coal sector in the US through the Fairchild acquisition that we've made in mining. And I suppose we have seen a slowdown in the coal industry because of that. But it's quite interesting that in the last 9 months, the price has gone from being very competitive for gas to being less competitive as it's become more available on the market. More people buy it, price goes up. So there's going to be a level out over time. So in the US, that gas is cheap compared to coal right now, and it has displaced some coal volume. Overall, though, globally, there is a lot more gas available through shale gas than anybody thought before. I think there's going to be quite a period of time for easy gas availability, but I think also some pricing volatility until all of that supply and demand equation settles down.
You mentioned shale gas there. Is that the biggest, impact as far as global competition goes?
Look, for me, the availability of shale gas, I think, has surprised everybody, how readily available it is and how easily available it is. I believe that there is a great future, but there is huge volumes of shale gas, not just in the US and Australia, but also elsewhere in the world. That opens up a whole new market for gas. Before, we used to go offshore, big, deep, expensive wells to find the gas. Now it says onshore, smaller, cheaper wells, lots of gas. So I think it's a complete game changer in actual fact.
Yeah, and when we're looking at new developments and new investment, and particularly in Australia at the moment, and there's a lot of talk about the cost structure here in Australia, but also the strength of the economy. And we're getting mixed messages on what the outlook is for the next 12 months. And looking more broadly to the sector in general, what sense are you getting? Are you getting positive, negative, a mixed review?
Probably mixed is the best way of looking at it. And I suppose whenever I get mixed signals, I go back to the macro environment, what's happening. So question is, do you believe that China has a long-term growth prospect as it urbanises? And I suppose certainly I do personally, and we in GE believe there's a medium long-term strong view there. They need to continue to urbanise. I think what's changed is that they're doing it at a more manageable pace. Straight after the global financial crisis, China turned all the taps on, accelerated its infrastructure build. But I think to some extent they turned the taps on too fast, and their own commodity prices went out through the roof, and they paid quite an expensive price to make the steel in order to put into the infrastructure. I think this time around they're turning the taps on in a more managed way, and out of that I think we're seeing more modest price growth. But we still think that's a long-term positive signal. Back into the home market, we've discovered that we have some competitive issues, particularly in our commodity cycle. They're real, they have to be dealt to. Part of it relates to the Australian dollar, but a lot of it also relates to the way we mine and the fact that we've got to come up with more efficient ways to do it, and all of the new CEOs of the mining companies are focusing on that. I mean, I've been in mining now for 35 years, and probably 28 of the 35 have been all about cost, efficiency, productivity. And it's only been the 7 years of the boom when people kind of forgot about it. So I suppose we're back to more normal times, and hence, once again, there's good work in what is a tough cycle if you know how to deal to productivity and efficiency gains for your customers.
Yeah, so you don't subscribe to the end of the boom?
No. Well, the boom we've had an unprecedented growth period in both volume and prices of developments for 7 years. I do think that will moderate. But the long-term need for China to grow, and ultimately India and the rest of Asia to continue to grow, I think will pull through our commodities at a more modest pace, but still strong pace. The other thing is our installed base is massive now. So if you think about the installed mining base start of 2001, it's about 10 to 15 times bigger now than it was then. That's a massive installed base. Someone's got to maintain it, someone's got to tune it up, someone's got to replace it. So once again, I think there's good business there, but it's different than the business of greenfield project development that we've been in for the last 8, 9 years.
Thank you.